What a blockchain nation. Today, I want to talk about a very important story or interesting story in the history of tech. So Apple, as of the time I'm recording this, is pretty much one of the, lack of a better word, most successful companies in the world. When you look at in terms of market capitalization, as of the time I'm recording this video, Apple is worth $2.6 trillion. Now that's huge. That's bigger than the market capitalization of a couple of countries combined. Now we know Apple makes great products. Apple obviously gave us the iPhone, gave us the modified MP3 player with the iPod, and a whole bunch of different products. Steve Jobs was obviously a genius, and he saw never really made anything brand new from scratch. Arguably, he just took some products that we already use and he made them 10 times better, and he did that successfully, which is why Apple is one of the most successful companies in the world. What a lot of people don't know is that a company that could have maybe had the notoriety of Apple in one particular area. Now, Apple makes a lot of products, like I said. They make the iPhone, they make the MP3 player with the iPod, and they have laptops and a whole bunch of products. But one company that could have dominated the personal computer market, which is where Apple saw a lot of success, is Xerox. And I want to tell you about that story and why that story is extremely important. Back in the 1970s, there was a young inventor by the name of Douglas Engelbart. A lot of people think that the graphical user interface with that you have in your PC today, that second nature, came from Microsoft with the invention of Windows. But long before Windows even existed, a guy by the name of Douglas Engelbart was experimenting with the graphical user interface. And this was early 1970s, and it was a novel idea for so many people. So when Engelbart showed everyone the graphical user interface back in the 70s, he had a mouse, and he showed people, like on the computer screen, how you could do basic editing. This was like an idea way before his time. This is the important piece that I'm probably going to echo a lot in this video, which is people saw what he was doing, they marveled, and they went back to doing what they were doing before. Imagine that. He showed everybody the graphical user interface. People looked and said, oh, that's cool. And they left and they walked back to what they were doing before, which was sad, which was a tragedy. So no one really built on top of what Engelbart did with the graphical user interface back in the 70s. Until fast forward, some years later, Rank Xerox comes into the picture. Now Xerox, very, very popular for making copying machines, and they were doing tremendously well in that area. And they didn't see any need to diversify into any other products. But as a precaution, they created a small research lab that could look at products like the up-and-coming products that could help them in the future. Great idea. And so they created what eventually became PARC, which is the Palo Alto Research Center. Now, one of the things that they did at PARC was to build upon the work of Douglas Engelbart. And within PARC, they started experimenting with the graphical user interface. They started experimenting with a network of computers where you could use a mouse, have a GUI on your screen, have a network, and you could actually send stuff to the printer using a Xerox printer. And this was back in the 1980s, and which was phenomenal. So Xerox had that whole setup within their establishment through the work of PARC. A lot of executives at Xerox, they saw that, they marveled, and they went back to what they were doing before, and they didn't think that was important. So the engineers at PARC were very, very frustrated. They had built on Engelbart's work, and they had created the graphical user interface. They had done some stuff on the HTTP, hypertext transfer protocol. They had created a network of computers. This was groundbreaking technology today, then, but nobody even cared, except a few people. And one of those people was a young engineer who kept on meeting his boss saying, hey, we have to look at what's happening at Xerox, at PARC, at Palo Alto Research Center. These guys are doing innovative stuff. And he hounded his boss for so long that his boss finally said, okay, I'm going to follow you to PARC and figure out and look at what it is that's happening there. And the boss walked in, for this young engineer's boss, looked at what was going on at PARC. He saw a lot of things with the HTTP and other stuff, but he looked at the graphical user interface and said, this is absolutely going to change the world. Other people looked at it, they smiled, they said this was great, and they walked away. But this engineer's boss really liked the idea. And I'm sure you know who that is. This young engineer worked for a company called Apple, and his boss was a guy named Steve Jobs. And so right under the rank Xerox with the Palo Alto Research Center Park, which was right under their nose, which was something they had put together. They had built this great invention, the graphical user interface, and a couple of other things. And they looked at it, they thought it was great, they marveled, and they went back to what they were doing before. But Steve Jobs saw an opportunity, and then he now, well, the rest is really more complicated. How you can argue how he hired Bill Gates and Microsoft to build the graphical user interface for them, but Microsoft went ahead and created Windows, and there was a long legal battle, and the rest we all know. What is the point to this story? The point is the catching part that really touches me, that how we could, or people at Xerox could identify or could see such novel inventions, to see such a novel idea like the graphical interface, have it right under their nose, look at it, walk away, and just go back to what they were doing. And why that is tragic is because we do that every single day. I know people look back now and they say, if I was around in those days and I had witnessed that, I probably would have, capitalized on the idea and joined Apple and be employee number one. People, they say hindsight is 20/20, but things like that happen every single day. When Tesla was making an electric car, a lot of people saw the Roadster, which was the first Tesla car. They looked at it, they marveled, and they went back to what they were doing before. Fast forward today, Tesla is a $1 billion company. So many ideas like that, how people saw the internet, how internet was evolving in the 80s, and how people could send emails. And the people who witnessed that, saw the idea of emails, they marveled, they smiled, and they just went back to what they were doing. And the story goes on with so many companies like Amazon, Bezos was trying to put books online, people who were around that era, who heard about the idea, they looked, they marveled, and they just walked away. And they missed out on opportunities. Why this is very, very key is that, like what's going on with Xerox, I think a lot of companies are making that mistake. This is the era of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. I remember back in 2015 when I heard about Bitcoin, and I was sharing the idea with everybody that I knew. And people looked and they smiled like, what's going on with this crazy money? They looked, they smiled, and they went back to what they were doing, and they just didn't care. I was selling people Bitcoin for free in 2015. I mean, imagine how much I would send 1 Bitcoin, 2 Bitcoins, well, not maybe 1 more Bitcoin, a fraction of a Bitcoin. And at the time I'm recording this, Bitcoin is $60,000. And a lot of these people that I sent small fractions of Bitcoin to probably don't remember what their wallet password is. I'm saying that and the essence of what I'm trying to say is that maybe, I don't know when you're watching this, we could have missed out on you. Maybe you weren't there when the internet evolved. Maybe you weren't there when Tesla, you have the opportunity to witness the Roadster when it became popular. Maybe you were not there to witness Jeff Bezos come up with Amazon, or the Sergey Brin and Larry Page come up with Google. But right before you today, before us, we are the Web 3.0, the new age of the internet, where people are witnessing cryptocurrencies, NFTs. They are witnessing decentralized finance. We are right in the cusp of all of this. And there's so many people that watch what's happening. They look and they smile, and they just go back to what they were doing before, not knowing that, in my personal opinion, I believe that this revolution of blockchain technology is going to absolutely change the world. So the same way Xerox missed out on Park and Apple capitalized or made fortunes from building graphical user interfaces and other products, obviously, and Microsoft became a trillion-dollar company just simply because of the fact that they were the first to the market with Windows, and that changed the evolution of the entire technology space. It's important that we also, in this era that we are in, take advantage of what's going on in cryptocurrencies, because this is going to be the next game changer. I truly, truly believe that. So don't be like everyone else. Don't look at crypto, don't look at Bitcoin, don't look at blockchain technology. Smile and go back to what you're doing. Learn every single thing you can about this space. Learn as much as you can about cryptocurrencies, about Web 3.0, about NFTs, about decentralized finance, because I truly, truly, truly believe that this is going to be the future. And so, till next time, my wish for you is that you learn more about blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies, because crypto is changing and will change the world. And those who get involved early, in my personal opinion, will greatly impact the future. And if that's you, let's go change the world.
If you would like to create more awareness for your brand or content, or you would like to earn additional income, register now on www.Kleekey.com. The more you share, the more you earn. Kleekey.